it's time to start thinking big picture. Well, these drivers can't think about big picture this yet. They have to think about the Marina Bay Street Circuit first. First out in 1996 at the old variant. This is the 21st Singapore Grand Prix and the 12th here at the Marina Bay Circuit. 3.15 miles, 5 kilometers is the circuit length with 23 turns at Marina Bay, 12 to the left and 11 to the right at this completely counterclockwise circuit. At this counterclockwise circuit, there are 3 DRS zones, one on the main straight, one down Raffles Boulevard, and one after the bridge at turn 13. This should allow for plenty of opportunities here at the circuit that many have touted and coveted as the best street circuit on the calendar. Singapore, as always, Singapore is always hectic, so to speak, and the 31 laps are going to have plenty of time to figure out what kind of hectic race we'll have today. It's also helped by the fact that we have the softest tire compound range, the C4, C3, and C2. The C5, C4, and C3 tire, and it should be no different tonight. Speaking of hectic, last season was one for the record books. We had a hectic qualifying with the Mercedes by Juggernaut grabbing the pole by 3/10 over the soft runner, and actually now current Mercedes driver Smoking Ginger, and his lap time being a 34.879 is looked to be the time to beat so far tonight. But we have a lot of time to figure that one out. 15 minutes still left in the session, but the race is where it got even more hectic. We had a 3-way battle after a late race safety car, the normal Tier 2 predicament. Where do you stay? Do you pit? Do you stay out? Or do you grab that fastest lap at a little earlier time? Well, that was no different here. We had a charging McLaren of Saxman and the Williams of Tizanic. The ended up race winner had to fight and try to overtake the Renault of SV Fridays after a long stint on those tires. Well, we'll see who can get it done today as we have a flying lap from Sinab going in the background as we finish off what is the free race show here today. Speaking of the championship order, let's talk about the championship fight. Ritzy leads Bobina by 34 points. Then we have a 28-point gap back to the Mercedes of Luis, who once again, unfortunately, is not able to attend for tonight's Grand Prix. Then in P4, we have Zeno after a great finish at Italy. At P5, you have Sweller, then Zenav, Unsighted Port, and the racing points of DXD and Feta, with the Williams and Facetas rounding out the top 10. Well, let's speak about the constructors now. McLaren leads Racing Point by 16 points, and the gap is once again slowly decreasing.
We might have to restart this lobby because I don't think this is right.
Why? What's wrong?
I don't think it's unofficial. They're at nighttime.
Has Ritzy said anything about it?
Yeah, Ritzy has said something about it. This is not nighttime.
Well, we can. I mean, it's up to them. Just keep me updated on that. Well, while we figure out if we need a lobby reset, let's go through the constructors' order at the moment. We'll kind of go and brush up on it. Like we said, Racing Point's gap to McLaren is easing down. Well, Red Bull has, after a great Grand Prix at Italy, has jumped both Alphas, the Alfa Romeo and the Alfa Tauri team, put themselves in P3, with 4 being Alfa Romeo and 5th being Alfa Tauri. Well, behind them, we see Mercedes in 6th, with Renault in 7th, Ferrari, Williams, and Haas rounds out to the Constructors' Championship. Well, we still got to figure that one out if we are going to restart the lobby or not. So in the meantime, we are still joined with Echo, and well, I speak about it every single week. If do you want track position or do you want strategy?
This track can go either way between strategy and track position, because normally guys want to start on the medium compound tires, going to the hards. That'll be the best strat around here because the softs will die out so quick. So you never know with this kind of track. This track is, yes, I love when you said that, it is the best street race circuit on the calendar.
Now,
let me hear it again. Let me hear it again. Come on.
Oh, that's something you're not going to get from me, because that's the place where Monaco sits, so I don't want to hear that.
Nah.
Hey, Monaco is such a fun track.
Singapore has a spot on everybody's heart.
Hey, Singapore is fun, don't get me wrong, but it's not as
Monaco
good as
kills people. No, Monaco kills people.
They kill themselves in Monaco. They don't. The track doesn't come out and bite you. You bite the track. Well, let's have a little bit of fun here. Let's what's gone on here between Neymar and Feta. Speaking of Neymar, we have a couple drivers that are now into Tier 2. We're getting a little bit more as by the day. Killer, by the way, is on the provisional pole with a 35.227 on the softs. But we have a couple drivers that are new to the tier. Not new in general for the one we are talking about now. BRL Neymar, he returns from his hiatus from Tier 2. He was Tier 2 and won the Bahrain Grand Prix a season ago, but was moved up to Tier 1 directly after. I think he's having a little bit of fun with the Racing Point of Feta, but he's not the only one. You had Aiden Khan in the Ferrari. He's sitting P7 long going through the Anderson Bridge now to turn 13. Let's see what he can do. Now Tazonic as a teammate. Both Ferraris are here today for the first time, I think, ever.
Are they really having fun? Looks like Neymar is blocking the mess out of Feta. Are they racing on track quality?
They could be, because I know. We're either gonna hear. I kind of want to watch Feta stream, just have it laid up, overlay. Because if this is not enjoyable for Feta, you will hear it. He'll be screaming all across the place. Cam's probably having a huge chuckle from this, but we'll figure that one out. We'll let these two race it out. Well, you know how I said the provisional pole last season was a 34.8. Yeah, not anymore. Provisional pole 34.190 from the championship leader of Ritzy Raccoon. He's up into provisional pole. Behind him is the Renault Killer. A good lap so far from him. It is very great to see him finally get a qualifying lap in. The last couple of weekends have not been good in qualifying for the Renault driver. Shamrock at 35.2. He just puts himself up into P3 in the Haas. Both Haas's are here for the first time since, I believe, Vietnam. DXD puts himself up to P4. He's on another flyer. As you know, he usually flies for 2 laps with both fuels. We'll see if he can try to improve on it. He needs a little bit more time. And if he can get 10th, he can get himself up into P2 where the Renault currently sits.
Maybe, but Ritzy already shattering last year's pole time. And speaking of the pole timer, Ritzy, can you please check the box? I want to ask you a few questions before the race, man. Huh?
Then why join the party?
No.
He spammed.
I did it twice.
Echo.
Hey, I was trying to do NASCAR. I was trying to do a NASCAR interview.
Well, we also need to worry about the lobby, so we can just roll with it, or we just
somebody said it's gonna be nighttime in the race still.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looked a little bright outside. I kind of didn't want to say anything about it.
All right, Ritzy. So, while we got you here, let's talk about how you think you're gonna do this weekend compared to last weekend when your teammate actually took P1. Do you think you and your team could actually have a little inter-team battle today?
Well, I don't know. This entire pre-race interview is coming as a surprise to me. I really can't say what's happening in the race as long as it's not like realistic was on Thursday, except that one lap. That'd be amazing. Yeah.
So do you have any confidence going into this race?
I mean, I like the track. It's not like I'm terrible at it. I'm not hitting any walls yet. So it's looking all good so far. Pretty exciting.
Well, congrats on the good qualifying time. Hopefully it will be up there. But thank you for your time.
Terrible. This is a terrible lap. Ashton.
Well, if it's a terrible lap, you could possibly see. You can go, yes. We possibly see how fast he can go. Well, speaking down the rest of the grid so far, we've kind of had a more. Oh, we're going back to the. I mean, you're kind of driving. I mean,
Get out.
I mean, if you get out of the car and qualify, I can get you a snack. But I mean, I can't. You can't drink and drive or eating drive. I mean, unless you find a way to multitask. I mean, I'm not judging or anything.
Alright, I'm gonna head out. This is actually pretty cool. I'm gonna get a Mountain Dew.
You can get a Mountain Dew? Alright, well don't spill it on yourself when you go through the Anderson Bridge.
I like how you shouting out your sponsor there. You gotta hear Ritzy.
Well, let's go through the rest of the grid. So far, like we said, we had a little bit more predominance of soft runners, so we were thinking about, I don't know, it's quite the difference from a season ago. We had a lot of drivers run on the mediums in the top 10. Obviously, in the top 10, you have to start on the qualifying compound tire you set your fastest lap on. So far, everyone's best lap, or most of them, is on those softs, but then you have some of the pits. You have Aiden, you have Dezonic, you have Bobina, Sweller, and Gutidu all have those mediums fitted. Fercho, who we're on a lap with, he's actually on the soft compound tire right now, the C5s. See if he can do, already gave up on those medium runners, kind of with a banker lap. Everyone else, though, Jinder has a 2-lap-old soft lap. DXD has a lap on the softs. Ritzy has a lap on softs, and if he says it was a terrible lap, can he go faster on the mediums?
We will have to see. It wasn't last weekend Tezonic's best finish. Didn't he get a good finish last weekend?
Last week was his first podium of the season at the famous Tifoxi's home Grand Prix. But it was not his best finish overall. He grabbed a win at this very track a season ago for the Williams F1 team.
Ooh. That'll make a good interview question.
All right, well, Fercho has gone faster by about, 17 milliseconds ahead of the Alfa Romeo of Ritzy. We're starting to see a little bit of a battle here happen between, you see, McLaren and Racing Point, obviously for the constructors. You have a 3-way fight for P3. If they're not too far off, it could be a 5-way fight for P1. You have Red Bull, Atari, and Alfa Romeo. But now with both Alfa Romeo, speaking of the other Alfa Romeo, you see right along with him, he's obviously invalidated. You see on the bottom right-hand, more towards the middle of the right-hand side of your screen. So we can see how far Alfa Romeo can go up now with the addition of Lucido, our actual Grand Prix race winner from a week ago. It's, like I said there, it is still more of an Italian team, so it technically is the team's Grand Prix. If you want to dispute that, go ahead. It's not going to mean much. There's no Swedish Grand Prix. Sweller, he knows goes on the final corner. In the actual Italian-based team, he goes up to P6 behind DXD Shigo.
Oh my gosh!
Tenths exactly.
Aiden Khan going up to the pole for 34-0 on the medium compound tires. Wow!
Well, whenever he was in
That is
Tier
quick.
3, and I know you can speak for yourself because you drive Tier 3 and I coordinate Tier 3. It's a lot of Tier 3 happening here. Well, whenever he first came out into Tier 3, it was Austria, wasn't it? He instantly made a mark on his career there in BRL.
It was no debate.
So,
It was no debate that Aiden Khan did not belong in Tier 3. He was way faster.
well, now is his chance to fight it. Provisional pole already. The last time the Ferrari was on pole here at Singapore, the Ferrari won a race. That was actually Leclerc got the pole, but Vettel won the race. So we'll see, is that going to be another Ferrari special? We had a good Ferrari weekend last week. Can it be another one here today?
Maybe. But in the meantime, we're going to go on to who's next on the track? Oh, it's Feta. Oh, nah, Feta's on a little. Never mind.
Or behind him. I think it's Sonic. He's on a. No, he's not. It's Aiden. So yeah, it is. Feta will be the next one to start a flying lap. No, he's not. He's on an end lap. Was his teammate going to be the next one? No, he's on invalidated. Is it going to be Flyer? No, it looks like he's out of ERS. He's also on an end. That's one thing to be careful with, though, is the pit lane entry. It's quite a difficult pit lane entry compared to the rest of the tracks on the calendar. Is you cannot carry too much speed, or you'll cut a course or cut the corner indeed going in. So you have to make sure you stay within those white lines. Get it slowed down enough.
Maybe we'll have to see those guys like really negotiate that pit entry and the pit exit, because that pit exit is so narrow. You can easily go over the white line and get a penalty off of that, or at least get a warning. But man, if you got a car coming by and you go coming out the pit, whoo, that is a tight corner going into the next turn. I think that's turn 3.
Turn
If I'm
3.
not mistaken. Yep, going into turn 3, coming out of the pits, and you got a car on track. That's gonna be really narrow. Hopefully we don't see any contact with guys doing that.
Let's
I
kind
think I
of
just
run
commented
on
and
board.
cursed that, but oh well.
Hope not. Let's go on board for the rest of the lap with BRL Neymar as he goes right now into the Nicole Highway for turn 8, now into 9. I'm sorry, from turn 7 now into 8. I'm sorry, a little bit of that. Then we go into Stafford Road into turn 9 here, which is a very difficult corner and very off-cambered, and that wall comes out to bite you. Now down into the St. Andrews Road, now into the old Singapore Sling. It used to be a lot difficult than it is now, but now it is still pretty difficult. That wall on the left can come out to bite you if you're not careful enough. Now you go to the Anderson Bridge, turn 11 through 12, now into 13, which is a very, very tight hairpin. It's very deceiving how tight it is. And now to the newest DRS straight on the track. It was there for last season, but it's still new nonetheless. Down into turn 14 and into sector 3. It's purple sector 2 for the Haas driver. Can he grab a maiden pole position on his first race back in tier 2 like he was in 2 races a season ago in Australia and Bahrain, but was moved up to tier 1. We'll see, can he do it again? He was successful in Bahrain. Can he do it again? As well as retiring in pit lane, the AlphaTauri thinking that's the best he can do, and his maximum is going to be P8 on the track. We go with about a minute and a half left in the circuit. Everyone else needs to start. Oh, that's invalidated in the final corner. Penultimate corner, I mean.
Well, that is very unfortunate for him. And welcome, Nathan, to the BRL Twitch stream. Welcome.
It's really unfortunate for Neymar. Let's go on board. I think there's a Red Bull. And it's going to be Fercho coming across the penultimate corner into 22, now into 23 to start his flying lap. He is on the soft compounded tire, the C5, so he's looking to try to grab pole position. And says, the heck with the mediums, he's trying to go for a quicker pole and get the track position. That's what Ritzy is also doing as well in the Alfa Romeo. He's now in turn 14, trying to do his out lap. Beta in the racing point, he's going to be right up with Ritzy. And speaking of Ritzy, his teammate goes right underneath him. Gutito goes P4. And that is going to be a 3-4 at the moment for Kutsidu. And we have a new podium interview. Or, I'm sorry, a free race interview.
Hey, Aiden Khan, please check the box above.
Yo.
Man, that time on the mediums, tell us about that lap, man.
I mean, the first sector was pretty scruffy. I was hoping for a 33.8, but I feel like this might be good enough for a pole, maybe.
You think you're going to pull a medal out for today in Singapore?
Hopefully, but I don't think that's going to happen.
That's a lot of confidence there, man. Come on.
Man, I don't want to be cocky.
Okay. Not being too cocky, but still confident enough and able to put a 34-0 with medium compound tires. Good job, Aiden Khan. You are on provisional pole for right now. Good luck in the race, my man.
Next one.
Let's go through. Checkered flag is out. So qualifying is now over. We have cars on laps, cars that are not on laps. Neymar pits. He's going to go at P15 on the maximum. First show around the final corners. It's going to be pole for the Red Bull. Yes, it is. 33.7. 3/10. He's not done yet. That's going to be Ritzy. Ritzy's invalidated. There is no chance for pole from the Alfa Romeo of Ritzy. It's Gutito on a lap.
Yeah,
Doesn't look like he is.
No, his teammate. Yeah, his teammate's not on a lap.
Beta keeps it valid. He is on the mediums, though. Can he try to find about, what? About 8 tenths or so. 8 tenths of a second trying to go grab pole position on those mediums. It was done a year ago. Can it be done again? DXD, he does purple in sector 2. He's on the softs. Can he grab a pole position? Bobina's going to be the other one who else could also try to go and take a pole position away from the Red Bull of Fercho. Killer, he's crossed the line. His checkered flag's out. He's P11. Shamrock 12th. Ginger 13th. Facetas 14th. Grabs ahead. 15th and 16th. Oh, DXD!
Corner, he missed it. I think he clipped the curb.
Yeah,
I really think he clipped the curb.
He tried to use a little
man.
to unsettle the car, spun it around. That's going to be the only one left on a lap would be Bobina, and he's backed off. So that will be a pole position for Fercho and a pole position for Red Bull.
I'm not taking nothing from Fercho, but still an amazing lap from Aiden Khan, though. You gotta give it up to him. P2 on mediums with a 34-0. 3 tenths off of Fercho, who did a 33.7 on softs. That's to look out for.
We can see the Ferrari looks like he has some pace indeed. Well, that's qualifying over here. The streets of Marina Bay, Singapore has come and gone when qualifying, but now that's not what comes on and what you give points. That's the race, so you got to see what can happen. Fercho will start from pole with about 3 tenths of a gap between Aiden. I said it was about the other way around last season. It was Jug grabbing the pole from Ginger by 3 tenths from the mediums onto the softs. It's the other way around. Ritzy is going to be an Alfa Romeo second row with his teammate Gutito right beside him. Feta is going to be a racing point third row with his teammate DXD behind him. It's Bobina in P7. He's having a little bit of ground to make up to try to go catch Ritzy Raccoon up in P3. Zanav P8 with Unsighted Port P9 and Sweller P10. That's going to be rounding out the top 10 with the rest of Killer and
Killer.
11. My brain's not.
Roger Facade will be your 12th, 13th, and 15th.
And
don't know who you are.
Neymar will be in 16.
There you go. Hey, we was able to do it.
Yeah.
But I think the team that's really gonna, I want to see them working together for these first few laps is Alfa Romeo and Red Point. They're the only team, like almost close to the top 5, that have a teammate with them to help each other out. Feta is going to be on the medium compound tires to start this race, so hopefully he'll probably let Ichigo go by and get pulled from Ichigo while everybody else behind him is on mediums. So will we see Feta give way for Ichigo so he could go fight the softs? Maybe. Yeah, the 2 Alfa Romeos on soft compound tires as well, and Eddie Khan in the top 3 is the only one on mediums. So a lot of different strategies playing out.
And that's going to be a great one indeed, because it's going to be a one-stop. You can go from the softs to the hards or the mediums to hards, or you can do a two-stop. Depends on how quick you are. Well, everyone in the top 10 have to start on the tire they qualified on. That's going to be the mediums for Sweller, Unsighted, Zanav, Bobina, Feta, and Aiden, with Killer on the hard selected, Shamrock with the mediums. That's going to be hards for Ginger, with Facetas, with Tazanic, and for Neymar.
I wasn't expecting Harsh to go on to this race. But then again, there is a lot of corners to heat up those parts easily.
There is no formation lap, so we're going, I guess. That's 5 red lights and the lights out, and away we go. That's going to be Ritzy around the outside to the lead. Goes ahead of Vircho and the Red Bull. Behind him is going to be Aiden fighting the Racing Point of DXD. That caught everyone napping, even myself. That's going to be Feta in P3 behind, or Feta in P5, Rutina in P6. Bobina from Zanav from Port from Sweller. That's going to be Facetas. Killer goes ahead of Shamrock with Tazanic position, and Ginger goes down to 16th. We're not done yet. Here comes Aiden.
Kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Caught me off guard. Oh, contact in the back. That's going to be Feta into Aiden. Into turn 8. Is there damage on the Racing Point? Yellow flag, virtual safety car. Looks like it could be caused by the Renault. It's front wing damage. And front wing damage to Shamrock. And Neymar has a time penalty.
He gets a 5-second penalty for contact with somebody. Don't know who. But, yeah, I think the lobby settings did not save, so we went straight into racing, which caught everyone off guard.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah, Neymar had contact with Smoking Ginger, which caused him to get a 5-second penalty.
Caught me off guard. I was over here like, wait a minute. And then all of a sudden we go, so... Well, regardless,
that was weird.
And it definitely has benefited the Alfa Romeo of Ritzy. He leads by about 1.1 seconds over the Red Bull of Fercho. A great start from DXD. He grabs the P3. Aiden grabs P4. Splits the racing, splits the racing points with Vitido P6, Bobina P7, Zanav P8, and both the Alpha Towers running at the top 10 as we go back green once again as we complete lap 1. Well, that's wide from Vitido going around turning 23. We possibly see Bobina with a charge. Sweller, Facetas is going to be Neymar in the box. Sweller goes in the box. Facetas in the box. Killer in the box. Tazanic goes in as well. Damage to the Ferrari as well, which is not good because these guys are on the hards. They have no other tire to go on to. They could go on to the hards for the end of the race if they were on a medium, which is great for Shamrock because he can take those hards to the end of the Grand Prix if he puts them on. These two, though, they're looking a little racy again into turn 7. Looks like they were going to make a move a lap ago, but they hold their ground as we chase down in this training. First show is a little bit off of the lead driver of Ritzy, about 17 seconds. Maybe a little...
I kind of feel bad that the settings did not save.
Oh, that's going to be Aiden losing his front wing in the Anderson Bridge. A mistake for the Ferrari that was not necessarily needed at all. Oh no. That's going to be front wing damage. How bad is it? No front
Especially
wing.
if these are the medium compound tires. Oh, man.
Like I said, you can take the hards to the end of the race. So So that could be a front wing change and a boxing for the C3 hard tires for the Ferrari of Aiden, with Neymar sitting P10. Behind him, there's a little bit of a gap, 25 seconds behind Ginger for the Alpha Tauri of Sweller, Facetas, Killer, Sonic, and Shamrock. Both three of those drivers, Facetas, Killer, and Sonic, have gone on to the mediums, with Shamrock going on to the softs. First show's coming, though.
I really feel bad.
Shove it off, it's fine. Yep, Aiden goes into the box. We'll kind of keep an eye on him, but right now DRS is enabled, the drag reduction system. It will open a flap of the rear wing if you are a second behind the car in front, and it will give you a little bit of extra speed and less drag as they go down the straightaway. Can Fercho catch up to the back of the race, or the Alpha? Got my brakes not working right now. Cannot, a little bit too far back. 4/10 of drift. That's going to be ahead of the Racing Point of DXD, who's ahead of his teammate in the Racing Point, Feta, who is on the mediums. Keep an eye on him. He looks like right now the best driver when it comes to strategy. Behind him, Gutidu in the softs on the Alfa Romeo. That's going to be a little bit of a move between Facetas and Sweller going into turn one. They all both got your beat in front of Aiden. Behind him, Killer's going to be not behind in the Renault. He's going to try to take advantage of those little bit of colder tires, not up to temperature as much as the Renaults, or as the tires that he has on in the Renault.
He was able to capitalize on Aiden's misfortune, and he is going to be up into P1 with Fercho right behind him. The two Racing Points are actually doing well for themselves, P3 and P4. And like I said earlier, before the race started, Ichigo is in front of Feta. With Feta being on the medium compound tires, Ichigo is able to go chase after Fercho and Ritzy like he wanted. So that is a good job by Racing Point.
Yes, it is.
Give me something like a
3/4%. Oh, that's a little bit too much on the power, with a little bit of an addition of the overtake button from DXC. Maybe the tires are starting to fall off a bit. Could we possibly see a little bit of a move? Nope. Feta leaves out the way to prevent himself from giving too much of a run into turn one to his Racing Point teammate. Aiden gets ahead of the Alpha Tauri of Sweller for P12, trying to contravene. He's on the mediums. He's not going to be able to make it to the end of the Grand Prix. Sweller can, so keep an eye on the Alpha Tauri if we have a safety car. Take advantage of it indeed. Right now, 1.2 seconds is the gap between Fercho and Ritzy. Ritzy has started to pull away. It was about 4/10 of a second about not too long ago this time, last lap. So he gained about 7/10 within those about 23 corners. These two.
Honestly, a safety car is really not unlike it here in Singapore. One wrong move into one of these barriers can really just take your wheel off. So it's really not unlikely we can possibly see one. Hopefully these guys will keep it clean enough, and hopefully they'll be more aware of where they at on track, because I have seen some people who look really good on track, but just hit that one wall, that one corner, and it just takes everything from them by just breaking the wheel off, causing the safety car for everybody else.
It's not unusual to see a safety car at a street circuit, but this is no different here at Singapore, and we saw a lot, especially from the realistic race. If you saw back to Thursday, there was many safety cars there as well, so you could possibly see a lot of safety car at any moment. If you're not too careful, you could be the one causing it. Well, speaking of these two, though, the Racing Point drivers of DXD and Feta, DXD grabs a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings and track limits that we applied at the end of his race time. These guys are kind of nose to tail, and at this point, in a team standpoint, it looks like Feta is actually the faster driver. So we possibly see a team orders situation here. Will DXD remain in front of P3 with those softs trying to go and catch up to Fercho? He's actually not too far up the road. Aiden grabs up to P11 past Facetas, almost clawing at points. 22.4 seconds is the gap between him and his first points of Tier 2. But up front, Fercho remains the same amount of gap to Ritzy as it was a lap ago, so there's no threat from the car behind for the Alfa Romeo, but there is a threat from the car behind from the Red Bull on the Racing Point of DXD.
If I say this picks up a 3-second time penalty, but like you said, yeah, each gun is really starting to fall off, and Feta does look like the faster Racing Point of the two, but you also got to think about it. The soft compound tires die easily here in Singapore. There's way too many corners for them to just not wear out so quickly, so I'm surprised these three top guys went on the soft compound tires. I think they would benefit more with the mediums, but hey, we'll have to see what they do. We know Ritzy is really good at saving his tires, so we'll have to see what he does. But I don't know.
It's gonna be
I
something
think Feta is
to
on the
see.
really strongest. He's on the strongest strategy here. As Ichigo goes deep into that corner. And get it behind Feta gets a 3-second time penalty, so that's not going to help his race when he's battling Bobinas and Nav unsighted. And you got Neymar further behind him.
Well, I've noticed as of late. Oh, look how close these two are coming through into 22.
Oh my!
They were nose to tail. This is almost no brainer. There we go. There's the team orders. Feta's been let through. So will that medium on the racing point kind of put an advantage? Looks like the soft runners are having a little bit of a trouble with their tires. Fercho and Ritzy are kind of falling back a little bit. Feta was being held up by his teammate. Can he possibly try to make the move and grab into provisional P1 of the race so far? That's Fercho and Jokic up to Ritzy. Gutito goes into the box and puts on the hards. He's gotten off the softs already, and the Alfa Romeo splitting the strategy one going long, one short pitting. Fastest lap again from the Ferrari. I mean, he looks like he's really pushing as far as he can. And the Ferrari, he's going to come out close, not too far behind the Alfa Romeo Gutito. So keep an eye on the Ferrari there. But he still has to make a pit stop as he started on those medium compound tire as well. Plus, those tires will make it. They can go about 16 or so laps. So keep an eye on to that. If you can try to get your... this is kind of risky because obviously softs don't last long. I mean, we saw many times that some people have tried the daring strat if they have nothing to lose. So, could we possibly see someone try to make an even bolder strat? That's a tap from the rear wing. Fercho goes around. These two have history, as it was in Holland. Those two have lost a heck of a lot of time. Look at Bobina. He comes out of nowhere. Here goes a P4 past Feta. DXD goes up into P2. So it looks like him letting him by was probably the best situation DXD could have asked for. So now it's DXD from Fercho, from Bobina, from Feta. Now behind him, Zinav's now into the picture. Both Red Bulls are going to try to go and fight this one out. Another, about what, 5-car train, 6-car train between these guys. Can we see who takes advantage? Anyone in the box? That's going to be two drivers boxing, the lead drivers of the two teams. We have Fercho and DXD both on the softs, both boxing into the pit lane. That's going to be unsighted now. He's now up to P4. Zinav and Feta both on the mediums. Ritzy's actually come into box as well, and Bobina is now your leader of the race.
That really did not help out Feta. I don't know what happened there because I wasn't looking at it, but man, that really killed Feta's momentum right there. Letting Bobina get by, then whew. Hopefully he can bounce back from this, but wow, I think that was a real blow to his strategy.
Well, luckily, like I said, like I referenced, those two have history at a huge contact after turn 1 at Holland back a long time ago. So luckily, those two didn't get damaged, and it looks just only a little bit of a time loss between those two. Could we possibly see that come up in the stewards report? It looked like Feta got a little bit too much on the, too late on the brakes, tapped the rear end of the Red Bull. Thankfully, like I said, no damage was done to either driver, but they lost a lot of time indeed.
We'll have to wait and see. Luckily, they didn't cost a safety car for anybody. If these two would have DNF'd from that incident, because this street circuit is really too tight to have any contact with anybody, because one wrong move can send you into the barriers.
Well, I'd like to point out, actually, I noticed this. Gutito pitted a lap ago. He's undercut the Red Bull and the Racing Point, so now he's up into original P2 behind his teammate.
And then Aiden is right behind Fercho as well, so Aiden has really bounced back from his mishap to get right behind the leaders as well.
Well, that's the thing for him, unfortunately. Like we said a couple times, he still has to make that second pit stop due to him being on those mediums. So now it's going to be a complete recovery drive. He needs to get past these drivers as fast as possible and make a gap so that when he goes on to those second set, either a hard or a soft, it depends how long he can get the tires lifted out. If he can get about a full 15 or so laps out of it, it would be around 20. He would have to make the softs go about 11 or so laps. So it's going to be difficult, but maybe it's possible. We have to see. He's on the button on the DRS. He goes on the button in first show, which is not close enough for Ferrari into turn 1. He will have to say in P11 for now. But remember, the Raffles Boulevard is not too far behind, the longest straight on the track. Could we possibly see a move into turn 7 from the Ferrari driver on first show? It's possible.
Maybe, because Fercho did go a little bit deep.
He did. He has a little bit of run. There's the DRS. Here we go. So the left-hand side. Fercho defends. Around the outside goes Aiden. Is it going to be possible? Contact shoves the Ferrari off the road. He's still there into turn 8. Still side by side. And it looks like the grip of the hards just seem to be better right now than the 4-lap hold mediums from the Ferrari of Aiden. He's not done yet. He's got another run, but he looks better of it.
I think Aiden gave away. I think Aiden gave away just to save each other, just so both of those guys doesn't mess each other's race up. I think Aiden did the smart thing to give away to Virtual for that one.
There's another DRS straight here. Can it be done again? Looks like he's on the button. He's going to try to go for it again down the inside for the Ferrari. It worked around the outside last time, not so much, but can he do it on the inside? Still side by side. Oh, sent down the inside.
Stick this time. Oh my gosh.
He spin round. He keeps it off the barriers. Unfortunately, doesn't work. It was bold and ambitious, but he will have to try to recuperate and go again.
That was really bold from Aiden. He is on the recovery jobs. Him battling Virtual like this is not helping his race. He really needs to hurry up and get around that Red Bull fast and quickly to catch up to Ichigo and now. But man, what a tough drive from Aiden right now.
It is. He's trying his absolute best after that mistake at the Anderson Bridge, and he's trying to recover every possible thing he can. He's already got 3.8 ahead of Mercedes and the Williams. We overtook not too long ago, so if you can try to go and make more of a gap and try to go race him, maybe you can see him trying to go and recover as much as possible. But now for these two, DXT has a considerably more amount of battery than it was for the Ferrari Raid. He's now chasing down the Alfa Romeo Gutidu. He's actually about 4.8 seconds adrift from his teammate, and Ritzy, who actually gained about a couple of tenths or so now through that corner through into the St. Anderson Road. See how well DXT can recover, because obviously he started those softs. It looks like he was struggling towards the end of the stint. So how well will this little medium? There he goes. Aiden got past the Red Bull Furt Show. For damage, it looks like a little.
Lit.
I think now DXT gets past Gutidu, and Gutidu stays ahead into the box for the Alpha Tauri team. He said 9 laps on those mediums is enough. Time to go on the hards.
He also picked up a 5-second penalty for that too.
Did he? Speed in the pit lane. The pit lane entry line is a little bit difficult to spot, so if you go in a little bit too hot, you can grab a 5-second time penalty pretty easily.
Probably did what I did yesterday. Get 1 mile per hour over the speed limit and still get a 5-second penalty.
Because it's still breaking the speed limit. That's why it's called a speed limit.
Yeah, I know.
Because that 1 mile an hour can make up a lot of time. Well, look at these two. Unsighted and Sweller are having a little bit of a battle coming out of the pit lane. Almost like the Ferraris a season ago, and actually no, about 2 years ago in 2019 now, when those two had Leclerc tried to actually Vettel undercut Leclerc, and those two were close out of exiting turn 2 into 3. It looks like the same thing happened this time. Unsighted stays ahead, or the undercut doesn't work for Sweller into his stance. But then again, the 7-lap hold hards could also be played for that as well. Shamrock also boxed. He was on the softs. He's now going to be on the hard compound tire to the end of Grand Prix.
The battle between these top 3 is really close. Nobody's really gaining anything now. And Bobina is going to be the first one to come in.
So he'll try to go and undercut everyone else. He'll have to be aware from the undercut from Unsighted in the Alpha Tauri. I'm not sure how much time he actually lost by staying out a lap longer, but there you go. The pit window is now open. Neymar has been given a 3-second time penalty. Multiple warnings and track extensions. But the McLaren is down and away onto the hards. So where is he going to come out?
He'll be losing now to probably Gutidu and Ichigo at the same time as well.
It's going to be close. Gutidu comes across. There he is. He's going to be ahead of Bobina.
I think Ichigo got a little cautious of where Bobina was, so he went a little too wide, and they're still side by side.
Look at these two now. Bobina lets him go.
Yeah, Ichigo got a little too cautious where Bobina was, and just went too wide, lost a lot of time to Gutidu. He was right on the back of him as well, so hopefully Ichigo can bounce back from what just happened.
Well, thankfully the DRS will allow that if he can stay within a second of the car in front, in that case being Titu. So we'll see how that plays out. Ritzy's been gaining quite a significant amount on Ginger ahead. He's actually putting quite big of a gap between him and his teammate behind. It was about 5.2. Now it's about 7 seconds between both Alfa Romeos. Looking strong, original 1-2 so far in this Grand Prix, with Ginger and Neymar both on old 10-lap old hards, and they'll have to pit onto a set of mediums or softs, depending how far they can go, with the two in front, Zanav and Feta, both on 10-lap old mediums. Speaking of those two, they may be looking to come in for locks this time by. You see about 1.7 seconds the gap between those two. Feta, will he come in? Yes, he will. Will Zanav stay out? Looks like so. Yes, he will. He'll go 1 lap extra, try to go longer, try to overcut Feta, hoping Feta gets stuck in traffic, because obviously Bobina had the same problem. He tried to go undercut and grab some time, and then was put out right next to DXD into turn 3. So that's what Zanav's trying to go for here, as Feta now dips relegated behind both Neymar, Ginger, and Ritzy, who's actually now in DRS range of the Mercedes.
I'm watching Bobina right now, and he's really coming around the corner and coming on the front straight. Is Feta going to be coming out right behind him? Yes, he will. Bobina will get the undercut like he wanted, and Ada Khan will also jump up into P8. So Feta will fall down to P9 after his pit stop, but he's on fresh hards and can go to the end.
Well, that's going to be interesting to note now, because think about it here. Bobina was released right into the path of DXD into 3. Feta wasn't. Feta stayed out for a lap longer and was pretty much almost about a second and a half behind. So, where is that going to put Zanav?
Possibly between his teammate and Feta. Because right now, these guys are all in the line. They're not messing with each other. They're not looking for crazy overtakes. They're just running their own race. So the way things are looking, Bobina and Feta will be jumping Zanav when he comes out the pits.
We'll have to figure it out. Will he stay out or will he come in this time? He stayed out an extra lap longer than the two behind him, about 1 lap longer than Feta, 2 more than Bobina. Well, the Red Bull is going to have a lot of time to make up if he does not come in this time. He stays out again.
Is he going for the sauce again?
Like I said, you could possibly see someone try and get bold. Is that what Zanav's going for?
That's really bold if he's going for it. He has the gap, though, but that's a little bit bold.
Because it depends how much. If you can save tires really well, you could go plus maybe around roughly 20 laps on the mediums. But that would leave about roughly 10 or 11 on the softs. So if you can put 20 laps on the mediums, maybe you can go 10 laps on the softs. But the thing is, you can do it, but are you going to do it?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be quick enough to hold out, but there's always that one factor that plays into F1. You can get behind somebody, but can you pass them?
That is true.
And in this track, there's not many overtaking spots. Yes, there's a lot of turns, but not many overtaking turns.
Well, if you looked at what Aiden did down in Sector 3, any turn is an overtaking turn if you're bold enough. So it just depends how bold do these drivers want to be with about roughly, 18 or so laps to go. I love that camera.
If you're the car behind trying to make the overtake, you gotta make sure you're not gonna make contact with the car ahead of you. If you're gonna make a move, you better stick to it. You just can't just half do an overtake around this track. It will come back to bite you.
You need to be bold. You have to pretty much put yourself. Oh, that's unfortunate for DXC. He was leading not too far off. He was leading this new train that was forming between Bobina, Aiden, and Feta, and a little bit of a drift away from Titu, but this is going to hurt his game. Now he's going to be behind Bobina. He's now going to be behind Aiden. He's not going to be behind Feta in about a couple of moments here, which is really, speaking of Feta, he's grabbed a 3-second time penalty, trying to gain as much time as possible, and that's going to be Zanav in, so he will not. He will go on the hards.
And Ichigo has joined back. Yep. Like I said, he's behind Bobina, behind Feta, and Aiden as well. So Zanav has fallen right behind his teammate.
I think he'll be
also
safe.
Coming in contact with Facetus, Killer, and Unsighted.
Yeah, he'll be safe from Facetus and the group behind him.
Yeah, but I think if he were going a lap longer, then yeah, he would have got caught out by those three.
Well, Feta looks like he was been let go from the Ferrari of Aiden. He goes up into P6 around the outside into turn 7, and now is going to go try to chase down the McLaren of Urbina. It's a direct title fight right now. Obviously, the other McLaren of Zeno could not make it, so it is a 2v1 in the sense from Racing Point and McLaren. There's 16 points, so if at the moment Urbina will grab 10, Feta will grab 8, DXC will grab 2, it'll be tied.
Ooh, is it really a constructive fight between these guys?
Yeah.
Well, Bobina is like the only one out of those three that doesn't have a time penalty, so it's really benefiting him at the moment.
It is, actually.
And then they got Gidadu in front of us, so we can see Bobina trying to make an overtake on Gidadu.
We could.
Some space between him and Feta.
It looked like he got on the power a little bit too early and kind of over-exacerbated his grip level of the Alfa Romeo in the back of his 7-lap hards. He has quite a tire differential between the guys behind Gutidu and himself, I'm sorry.
Speaking of tire differential, we got Neymar holding up Ritzy, as Ritzy was right on the back of him going into the turn 3. Now going to turn 4, Ritzy will get DRS. Neymar trying to swerve out the way. Whoa, okay, that's double move, I think.
He hasn't moved again. Is he going to be close enough around the outside for Ritzy? He's going to try for it, but he can't get it. Into the Nickel Highway. Now into turn 8. Not close enough. He's going to have to stay behind Neymar for a little bit longer. Those 14-lap old hards proving to be enough to keep the Alfa Romeo at bay. Aiden comes out and
for now
the hards on indeed. He's going to be P14. Look at the inside of the Singapore Sling. Going to be on the outside of the next corner. It's going to be tight.
That's a little tight, guys.
Anderson Bridge, he has to yield into turn 12, now into 13. Late on the brakes, taps the rear end. No damage done. Now he has DRS. He needs to be a little bit more patient because he would have gotten the DRS and he would have probably gotten the move done. Now he has to recuperate.
I think Ritzy's getting a little bit angry. I think Ritzy's getting a little bit angry behind Neymar.
A little impatient.
You can just see the way he's taking these corners. He wants to get past Neymar. He knows he's quicker than him. He knows he has the fresher tires. Will Neymar yield, or will he keep fighting Ritzy as long as he can with those 14-lap old hards?
Well, the time for the medium stint is coming closer for Neymar. Neymar will have the faster tires and probably the freshest as whenever he does box. So that will be something to look out for as Neymar breaks the draft again, going into turn 1 and tries to avoid any confrontation with the Alfa Romeo into the braking zone. What?
He disconnected.
Well, that's
he has an X.
Well,
yeah, Neymar has an X. Will he teleport right back in front of Ritzy, or?
Doesn't look like it. I'm on board with Ginger. See? No, we can't really see it from here. Doesn't look like he will. Maybe he's not really sure. Anyway, Killer goes into the pit lane. He's on 2-lap old hard, so has he gone on to hards again, or did he pit?
Oh, Aiden retired. He retired in the pits.
He is in the pit lane. So that is our first retirement of the Singapore Grand Prix. The Ferrari of Aiden in his first race has
and Neymar has left.
So that's what I thought would happen. It's unfortunate indeed. Starting from P2, just could not get the tires to work after the mishap from the Anderson Bridge. But and fortunately, there is more races to come. About 4 after this, so there's plenty of opportunity. As Ginger is actually now closed up to the back of Neymar's AI and trying to get back up into P2 that he was in a moment ago before Ritzy overtook him. Now, continues not too far behind. 1.3 he's on about what? 8-lap old or 8-lap fresher tires than the Mercedes in front. Obviously, the Mercedes has not come into the box yet, but still, that window is coming open pretty soon.
Alfa Romeo is really looking dominant in this race today. Not gonna lie, they're really looking dominant. They're really playing to their strengths. Ritzy being Ritzy, he's able to keep P1 at the moment. Oh, he take it all the way. Feta is in the pits. What's happened to Feta?
Front wing damage. It is front wing damage. Onto the mediums for the Racing Point. That's going to hamper his race, and that's once again not what Racing Point needed. It is a 2v1, and both their cars has boxed to mediums.
Both
They
of
collide
them
with
have
each
front wing
other?
damage. I don't know. I hope not.
There's no way they collided with each other. Well, now we have quite of a Noah's Ark brigade from 6 down to 11th. We have both Red Bulls ahead of both AlphaTauris ahead of both Racing Points. And up at front is actually going to be the same once Ginger and the Mercedes comes into box. Actually, it may not even last that long. Gutierrez is not too far behind. He's 0.3 of a second behind the Mercedes. It goes a little bit deep, so keep an eye out. That
But look
McLaren
at
is still
Bobina.
looking.
Yeah, Bobina's looking at Gatidu, looking for a little gap, a little mistake from Gatidu. He's on 5 lap pressure harder than he is, so we'll have to see if Bobina's going to make a move for the podium position. The Smoking Ginger is really out there on 16 lap over hards, though.
Well, not too much longer, and he'll go on to the mediums for the end of the Grand Prix. But let's keep in mind, so I said that these guys, the McLaren and Racing Point teams, have a little bit of a buffer. Their buffer to Alfa Romeo is about, 38 points. That's the gap from McLaren to Alfa Romeo. Well, McLaren has one car right now that's being scored. That's Bobina. He has 12 points. Ahead of him, as it stands, Gutiérrez, this is without the penalty, he has 15. And Ritzy, 25. So that'll be a full 40 points to Alfa Romeo and a full 12 to McLaren, and not even mentioning Racing Point, who has 1. By the way, the Red Bull switch positions. Zinav and Fercho go at it, and Zinav will go ahead of his teammate at Red Bull for P6. But back to what I was saying.
I think.
Is it was, that is 28 points gained? That puts the gap to 10. They're not safe.
Whew.
Vettel gets past Sweller for P9. So breaks the Noah's Ark calendar back there.
Did I just disconnect? I just disconnected.
Oh, that's not good. Wait. The race ended.
The race did. Did the race just end for real?
The race ended.
Yo, I disconnected. Yeah, I think the whole game
Disconnected.
just shut out. The whole game just shut down. What the heck?
Well, we did get 90%. Or no, we did get halfway. So I don't know
That's
what we're gonna do
18
about
out of
this.
31.
Oh, it's
That's
not.
18
So it's
out of
not.
31.
It's not halfway.
That's not halfway.
All right. Well, I'll grab the finish. We could possibly grab. Probably could start it as it were, but that would help Ginger a lot.
Whoa.
I have
GG,
no idea.
Old Master. Wow.
I have no idea how we're gonna play this.
I don't know if you.
And I
if we
can't even
can
see
play
the.
this one off.
And I can't even see the finishing order.
I can't either. I can't see it at all.
It just
You
cut
could
out.
probably look in.
Like,
Yeah,
it
we could
didn't
probably
show
look
it.
back in the stream, but like, wow.
Wow.
Cup Master dive bomb.
Well, we need the we'll be right back screen. Oh my God, how? What lap was it? 16?
It was 18 out of 31.
It was 18, so it was halfway.
That's halfway.
18 out of what is 30? Okay, wait. I mean, yeah, it's halfway. Is 15.5, so it was halfway anyway.
Oh shit.
Race was halfway. So let me look back at the finishing order, and I'll tell you what the unofficial race results are if it stands. 'Cause I'm not sure exactly what will happen of this. And if that's the case, go ahead and grab the guys I say into it.
So, okay.
That is really unfortunate. We apologize, guys.
That's very unfortunate. That's never happened before to me. So I'm completely lost.
All right. So from what I see here, the unofficial Grand Prix winner will be Ritzy ahead of Gutidu, but with a time penalty that will put Bubina up in P2 with Gutidu P3. Ginger did not get a pit stop. He does not get scored. Same with Neymar, who does not get scored. So it'll be P4, P5 for Red Bull. I'm not sure about the penalties, but P6, P7 for the Alpha Tauris with Fercho, Zenav, P4, P5, Unsighted, Sweller, P6, P7. Feta grabs P8, DXD P9, Posadas P10, the final point staying position. And the fastest lap, I think, got to Aiden in the Ferrari, with 11th going to Killer, 12th to Dazonic, 13th to Shamrock, 14th to Ginger, 15th to Neymar, and 16th to Aiden.
Hold on, we're hearing confirmation from our owner Skeppy. If you want to do a 24% unofficial will be fine, but it'll shake things up and someone can get screwed out of a good finish, which result in a different problem. Right. So this will be one of those moments where we get a red flag at the moment.
Yeah, this is really interesting. Wow. Never had this happen before. This is quite the interesting occasion.
So we're having red flags at the moment, chat. Please bear with us as we try to get this figured out. Did you hear anything from Skeppy?
We're talking about that right now.
Alfa Romeo race.
We should be getting an answer soon. All right. The race has been called. It is over. So with the final results, you go ahead and get the podium interviewers in. Echo, if you don't mind, the podium interviews. Ritzy wins, ahead of Bobina, ahead of Gutidu. And I'll get the rest of the results. Alrighty. So it has been called. Due to unfortunate circumstances, we are more than halfway, so that will be the end of the Grand Prix. Half points will be awarded, and rounding up, if there is any half point, like 0.5, meaning the results for the Singapore Grand Prix will be as followed. One second as it loads, because I blame everything. All right. So as it loads, this is the final results. They are called. It is official. The winner of the season 6 Singapore Grand Prix is Ritzy Raccoon, ahead on track of Gutidu, but due to his time penalty, it will be to Bobina. So Bobina P2, P3 Gutidu, P4 will be to Furcho, P5 Zenab, P6 Unsighted Port, P7 goes to Sweller, P8 to Feta, P9 to DXD, P10 to Facetas, P11 to Killer, P12 to Dazonic, P13 to Shamrock, P14 to Smoking Ginger, P15 to Neymar. Those two will be technically disqualified as if they since they did not make their mandatory pit stop, but since it was not of their doing, they will still be ahead of Aiden in the Ferrari. The fastest lap point will still go to Aiden, but since he did not complete the race and is also not in the top 10, it will be null and void. So, since that is the case, we will now move on to the podium interviews. Once again, we apologize for this mishap, but since Gutidu does not appear to be here, he will not be the one going first. As Echo, do you mind getting Ritzy back in here? We'll go and start with Bobina.
Alright.
No, I guess I'll do it then. Alright, I guess we'll go ahead and start because Echo seems to be gone. Lol. Thank you.
Sorry about that. I am here. I was
Right.
busy dealing with my little brother.
Go ahead and
But
start with
Bobina, P2 before the red flag happened. Yeah, being the sole McLaren getting up to a podium position. Tell us about your race, my man.
Yeah, it was okay. I wish qualifying went better, but you know, I am a bottle job, so I bottled quali. And then the race was just, it's simple and, you know, just keep it clean, not get any penalties.
Huh. Well, I really don't have that many questions for this one. Man, do you think you and your teammate will be able to close out Racing Point and catch up to Alfa Romeo in the constructors?
If we can get some luck, maybe. But you know, I'm not too sure with how everything's going.
Well, thank you for your time with this half race. Ritzy, another win, man, before the red flag. How you feel?
No, it's not something that I'm particularly happy about. The lobby issues just happened and it was really unfortunate. The racing was well. There were so many different strategy options. It's just a shame that the lobby had to die. It's definitely not how you would want to win a race, like out of the just red flag. But you know, unfortunately, those circumstances had to be called, and yeah.
Very. Are you gonna hush? Let me do my job. Ritzy. So, Ritzy, that was a very well spoken, man. Very well spoken. Modest, very humbled, and couldn't say it better myself. But we don't have Gatidu, so no P3 interview at the moment. That's gonna be in for the Singapore Grand Prix. Catching, you want to say anything?
Yeah, like we said, we apologize up here at the Breakout Racing League, especially us in Tier 2, because, I mean, obviously this was not really our fault at all, but due to the game's fortune and it being past halfway, it was only right to call it, as this 25% race would also just completely negate any and everything that has happened here and possibly make the situation worse. So once again, we apologize, and we'll be back next week, hopefully without any problems. But for now, don't worry, there's more racing, and hopefully it won't mess up again in about 50 minutes time. It's a little bit earlier this time since the halfway point. We will see the Tier 1 Grand Prix of Singapore, and as Chandler put it, the Vettel Grand Prix. And you'll see everyone in Tier 1 have their circuit around the Marina Bay Street Circuit, and hopefully it goes better than this, unfortunately, did. But that's not all. You can see tomorrow you'll have ACC. It is going to be their round opener at the Nürburgring in Germany. So tune in for that. That'll be at about 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So keep that in mind. It'll be a fun one. But that's not all. On Monday, we have Tier 5 and Tier 6 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. Tune in for those guys to see what they can do around the Singapore Grand Prix. But for us here at Tier 2, once again, we apologize for the mishap that happened today. And we will be back next week for Japan with 4 Grand Prix left in the season. And if we have any news, we will update you as we go. But for myself, Heycatcher, Echo, Ritzy, and everyone else in Breakout Racing League and in the Tier 2 Championship, we say goodbye.
Peace.